Beautiful.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of SEO Melbourne Podcast. I'm here with one of our close confidant and my personal friend James. Hi James, how's it going?
Very well, Girish. How are you today?
Not bad at all. So James here is the director of Five Creative. Five Creative is a digital agency specializing in websites, web development. And we've been working together for quite a long time. Ever since I've joined SEO Melbourne, James has always been the one helping us with web dev. So how's it going, James? What's been up?
What's been happening? Just trying to get through these times, I guess. So yeah, there's a couple of weeks which everything's slowed down a lot, but it seems like there's sort of more of an upturn that's happening. And I think it's I think it's just because people are realizing it. We're in for the long haul. So
what do you like when the whole COVID crisis started? People were in panic mode, and a lot of businesses were very concerned about how they were going to continue with operations. What do you think changed from then to now? Like you said things are starting to get back into a bit more of a rhythm. What do you think changed between the start of the crisis to now?
I reckon a big thing is people sort of know where they lie a lot more. Like I had a few clients because we did a lot in sort of entertainment, hospitality, where they just shut doors and there's there's nothing they can do because they're large businesses, and to switch and change, they just could not do that. And for the others who there is opportunity there, I think it's the final, just that realization that they will make it through. The government's come through with some certain it'll help some people a little bit just to get through. But and I think just the biggest thing is people now realise that it's going to be months and months or years that we're everything's going to be effective for.
Yeah, and I think that initially, when people started panicking, they were panicking due to the fact that there was a lot of uncertainty around timelines and time frames. But I think once the government started talking about providing funding, the job keeper applications and job seeker applications, there was a lot there was a bit more certainty and confidence that was built in the market, and people started effectively making plans about what they plan to do with their business, and things are slowly getting back on track, which is great, I feel.
Yeah, but I think a big thing is like there's still a long way to go, and we don't, it's the true hit to the economy and everything like that is still sort of coming up. But I think people realize that they need to get through. It might not be sort of there's these few weeks, but in the future, there's a lot that people need to start ramping back up. Because if they sit to the side, then it's going to be too late. So you have to be very sort of get back on the front foot and drive the business a lot more, which is what we've seen this past week, especially.
Yeah, and I've noticed that businesses that adapt in this time, especially in times like these, will have their front foot forward when we come out of this crisis, because businesses that are trying to change the way they operate and try to focus on pivot strategy so that they can focus on more short-term goals and then worry about the long-term and big picture. I think, companies that have built a system of agility around, making strategies and decisions, they're the ones that, will benefit in the long run. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it's pretty important to pivot strategy at this point?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I think the biggest, like what we've seen, this is like the sort of the next big thing. We saw it, so when the big rise of the internet, there were people, early adopters who jumped on and took advantage. And there was people who lagged behind, I don't need to do that. Social media, another big thing that came through. People, a lot of people embraced it, and you see where it is now. Other people, I don't understand it. I'm not going to do it. And then, this is a whole new way that's going to change a lot of ways people do business. Yeah. And I think the big thing about this one is that there is no option. Like there is zero option. You have to. It's not a strategy. You're not planning to sort of go online. Yeah. Like if you don't do that, your business will fail. And before, you could sit still and sort of that face to face and everything. But this time, if you do not go online, your business will fail.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we've seen that.
And how do you think, like you said, you have to go online at this point because everyone's working remotely. So what do you think in terms of like consumption of services, consumption of product and services, right? Do you think that the consumption of services has drastically reduced since the spread of the COVID, or are the people who are providing the service online benefiting the most at this point?
Yeah, they're definitely benefiting more. I think there's been a massive drop in services, to be honest. As in, people sort of buying things online, people are sort of buying less. I think there's spikes in certain things, like grog and bits and pieces. But since it's not only businesses, but the general population are worried and sort of holding on to their cash, which will relax, and it has started to do that. But it's just a weird time where people are just not sure, and definitely has had an effect. But what it means is there is opportunity to, everything's a bit quieter. You can sort of rally the troops and sort of go forward. So
no, for sure, interesting times. And like you said, it's very strange times. Even like walking do your grocery shopping, walking at Woolworths, everyone's like, stopping, waiting for the next person to move, like trying to make sure distance. No one's walking, on in your path anymore, which is great. It's a very weird time, I feel. And how long do you think this is going to last for? Like, what's your hunch?
I think there's a few different. There is lockdown. So there's lockdown. I don't know. They have to open it up soon, I would think, just because people go crazy and the economy, it's going to take such a massive hit. But the big thing here is the people are going to be, like, in this short time that we've been here, people who had never been sort of really shopped online or seeked out services online, or realize how easy it is to Zoom, how much time we waste going to meetings, like, or, working from home as well. Like, people, spending an hour and a half in the car every day, and they're just on home, jump on a quick Zoom call. That's going to stay. Like, the importance of sort of big meeting and all this is going to sort of go. So it's going to be a lot more efficient, and that's going to stick around. I'd say that's one of the main things here. What this is a changing culture that this is going to spur. So I think for a good thing, because that's what we have as well, is that before I was saying you could sort of choose whether to go online, and now you have to. And again, it's not, at this moment, it's not a strategy to go online. Everyone's doing it. So the amount of competition online now is going to be more than ever. So every business is coming sort of to us and to you and going, hey, what can we do to get online? And they go, oh, I just want to do this sort of this baseline. But what we've found is that instead of, like, they might have a few competitors that are doing that. Oh, beautiful. And there's a bit of space for everything. Now there's just, like, everyone is coming on, and you need to really stand out more than ever at this time.
And what do you, like, as as a business owner, obviously you yourself have had scenarios where clients, have come to you and like, what is the sentiment? Are they looking to pause campaigns? How are you dealing with the situation when, situations like that arise? Because obviously it is quite detrimental to the business if, all your clients suddenly say that, they don't require your service anymore. What do you think is a good way to deal with this situation? Because I think all of us are on the same boat. All businesses are trying to sort of cut down on expenditure. If they don't require a specific service, they're trying to cut it off. What do you think is the best way to deal with that situation?
It's a toughie. I guess it comes to, because I think we have very good, relationships with our customers. So there's an honest sort of conversation there. And so the best way to, and I think, by this stage, we know if someone's, if we can sort of convince someone that it's the best idea to keep going, or if they're just going to pause. So we had tons of people pause on website builds, on branding, just to see what was going to happen. And so what we just reached out to everyone and just said, hey, what can we do now just little things. So, so we had someone, that was going to do a massive website, and we said, hey, let's just get a splash pager. For now, let's just start there and just do a little bit. How's your social? How's this? Let's jump on and just make sure everything's looking good. And so instead of us having sort of one or two big projects on at a time, we had sort of we have 30 tiny little things. But it's pretty exciting though, just getting through and getting to reach out to everyone again.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even like we've, had these pretty hard conversations with a lot of our clients as well. And, we understand that everyone needs to be a bit conservative when it comes to spending. And we sort of are, now sort of offering discounts to some of our customers just to make sure, especially the ones that have been with us for a really long time. Because, we understand the importance of them being online and, if they do tend to lose a lot of traffic when things go back to normal, they will be hurt pretty bad. So we're trying to work with them in whatever way we can possible to keep the ball rolling. An interesting question. Now we've realized that a lot of people can now work from home, right? Offices technically have now started functioning from home. Do you think in the future, in the near future, there would be a trend where companies now would just start letting people work from home, and that would have a bit of an adverse effect to, commercial property rental space? What do you think would happen when things resume back to normal? Because now businesses have realized that they can still be pretty efficient working from home, and the whole cost of rent, which is a pretty big cost for most businesses, a lot of them are not going to work and not paying rent. So what do you think? How do you think that would affect things, especially in the commercial real estate space when things get back to normal? Because as a business, you're always trying to streamline, right?
Yeah, they're fucked. To be, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think I guess it's two ways. People who realize that they don't have to go. They don't have to go into the office, as well as people realizing that they don't need to, have this big presence that people come into.
Yeah.
So, and that's the because there's always those, people have the office spaces that look fantastic, and they got the massive boardroom, and that's still really impressive, but it doesn't have to happen. And people are going to go, hey, let's just jump on a Zoom instead of me, driving in for 45 minutes, spending half an hour looking for a park, getting back a quarter of my day's done. Let's just jump on a Zoom instead. So, but that's, I think, they always find a way to reinvent themselves, and nothing, restaurants will always, you want to go out to a restaurant, people want to go out and touch clothes and do things like that. But in sort of other aspects of it, I think it's going to, it's going to change a lot as, people learn how to work together online as well. So,
no, especially businesses that, really don't require an office space and have everyone working remotely. And I'm sure that there are a lot of businesses like that. Once, this crisis gets done with, they if they don't necessarily need to be constantly meeting clients in big boardrooms, there will be a situation where they're like, wait, hold on a second, do we actually need rent? Do we actually need to go to work? How efficiently can we monitor everyone working for us from home? That's another, big question. Is how do you control productivity? When someone's working.
Yeah. I think, there's the whole, you work from home. Most people get stuff done in half the time. There's not the distraction. I guess, depends. I still love coming to the office. I got, wife, kids, dog at home. And, it's harder to sort of juggle. But, coming to the office and there's nothing here, it's fantastic. My wife, I take care of Evie on Wednesdays. Evie and Megs comes into our office because there's no one else here. So, just to have that sort of a bit more quiet time, but there's there's tools out there to do it. If the work's getting done, it's getting done. It will affect your micromanagers. It will affect those guys who want to sort of touch everything and look at what everyone's doing every second of the day. But if you've got clear goals and you're sitting there and the work's getting done, clients are happy, then it's a lot of time saved.
For sure, a lot of time and a lot of money saved. Another now, like it's pretty, there's certain businesses that are adapting pretty well to this change, right? What, being a digital native yourself, what do you think is, can you share some interesting strategies that have worked for some of your customers, for some of your clients, that have worked pretty well in this period? Like, what would, what tips would you give business owners at this point? What should they be doing different?
It's sort of, I think the first thing everyone needs to do is take a look at look at their communication channels with their customers and keeping them up to date, because there's so many things that are changing. Every Sunday something else is coming down, and they need to effectively communicate with their customers. And that could be, make sure your database, is up there, and you've got something to send, even like a MailChimp or Campaign Monitor that you can blast out from, making sure all the details are, up to date, sending that across, and just, with big updates there. But in communication, just making sure that all your online details are up to date. So, you've got the office phone, but it's not redirecting, or, there's another number that needs to be there. Opening hours are affected. If you're an online store and you need to tell people it's going to take a few more days than usual to get to them, put that in the email that goes there, and just be very transparent and put that forward. And that's sort of, that's probably the first thing. Make sure you're communicating exactly how your service has been sort of affected. And also, if they're expecting something, a certain turnaround time, and that's changed because what's happened, let them know. The other one is, I guess, is more people online and sort of on your website. And this is for now and for always this is the best thing to do. It's like, I always say, pretend you're your customer and go use your website. All right. Like, it's the most eye-opening experience. So, say you've got an online store, pretend you're a customer and go there and just pick, okay, I want to buy, I want to buy a hat. Yeah. Beautiful. So go to the, first search for a hat, or whatever, I want to truck a hat. You search for a hat. Are you coming up in search? If not, okay, cool. You get to the front page of the website and go through and see how easy it is, and see how nice that experience is, how fast the website is, and be your customer. Because a lot of people just set and forget. They put it up. And are constantly going back to it. Like, websites need maintenance. Marketing needs maintenance. Stuff that worked before no longer work. Campaigns need tweaking. But if you just go through that basic sort of journey, and even like if you're an architect, are the images, do they still look good? But are they big, and can you see things? People want to see images of your work. Beautiful. Then it's sort of like, cool. Can I easily find how to contact? And how many clicks through? And if it was hard to do, you need to change it. And just make sure. And if once you submitted the form, did you get a follow-up email that said, "Thank you very much. We'll be back in touch by this much." Helps your sales process. So that's the other one. Is just use it and make sure you like the experience that you're giving your actual customers.
Definitely, I think that's very important. A lot of times when you're building your website, you get a bit tunnel vision and get a bit too hung up on technicality and specifics, and you don't, and you forget the larger picture, and you forget, you need to think about things in your customer's shoes. And a lot of times, when you're running things, you do tend to forget that. So it's important to keep that, that reality check going. But another, I guess, what I wanted to talk to you about was, now, say for instance, the travel, the two most affected industries are probably travel and events, right? I've got friends who work in the event industry, and they completely, shut. Now, what do you think? Do you have any solutions or tips for these guys? With the travel industry, there were talks about, certain travel companies trying to offer their clients, trying to offer their customers a virtual reality experience for 1/10 of the cost, where if the customer, if their customer has access to, say, the Oculus, the VR, they would get that in a virtual show of a place. What do you think? Do you have any tips to offer people who are in the travel and the events industry who are suffering the most?
Ooh, that's a toughie. We've had a few clients that sort of switched it up a bit. I've got a client who sells champagne online.
Yeah.
And she was also did sort of a champagne sort of tasting events. And
Yeah.
she did a fantastic thing. She's got the so she has sort of hard to find sort of not as well known champagnes that she sort of stocks. So she got in touch with the producers of these champagnes from France. And so she does every week. She's got one of the champagne makers, the winemakers who do the champagne. So she sells a package online. You get the bottle of champagne, free delivery, which is always good. Sent out, and it also comes with sort of a masterclass, so a Zoom thing. So you have the tasting. The guy over in France, he's on there at like 3 a.m, telling you about how he made it and put it together, and you taste it, and it's just taking that online. Who else? They work with a trivia company, and they're doing trivia online on Facebook. So they do a Facebook Live, and it looks awesome.
How is that working? That must be pretty packed still, right?
They get 1,000 people on every week. It's crazy. Yeah. And from that, they're pivoting. So I think with them, they weren't sure exactly what to do. So they just said, hey, we've got to try something. So they started doing that. And from that, they've had sort of footy clubs reach out, businesses reach out. So, but that's another thing. People are working from home, so there's not that.
Yeah.
The culture takes a hit. So they're putting together like trivia for the Friday lunchtime. Everyone in the office gets around, and they come in and do a custom trivia for you.
Okay, that's
over Zoom, and so the office a bit of morale boost.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to totally change the business, because they were doing pubs,
Yeah.
They did a ton of pubs, and overnight the pub just closed.
Yeah, everything's shut.
So it was and it's awesome. It's on Wednesday night, 7:30. It's so good. But in terms of travel, that's a tough one,
right? Because the government, there was this article that I was reading the other day where, the government says that travel's not going to resume back to normal, and Australians shouldn't consider traveling overseas unless on holiday, at least till 2021. So, I guess the government's trying to promote more local or travel within the country, but that's going to be that sector is hit like pretty badly with articles like that coming out, because a lot of people don't have the confidence to book, because a lot of the times the way the travel industry would also work was people would book in advance, but now people don't have that confidence anymore because they don't know when resume back to normal. So the whole pre-booking revenue that they would be getting is also getting pretty badly hit. So it is one of the hardest industries to deal with at this point, because the government has restrictions on it. It's not it's not something that is easily pivotable.
Yeah, so that's because the only thing I can think of, I guess, is it's just tough. It's just that it will not be making the same money for another year. So it's just making it through. And I guess like what you said, try and give people confidence through the communication. That it will be okay. It could be a guarantee or just something to keep the money rolling in. And the only other thing, I guess, people are at home, so they want to see things, but I don't know if you could pivot to, selling other, travel related products. So when you're ready to go, it comes back on. That VR stuff, it's, I know I wouldn't do it, but some people might.
I mean, again, it's not for everyone. It is for some people, but then again, people have to try different things to keep their businesses running at this point, right? It is.
Most definitely. Yeah, and that's getting your blog, getting blog posts up, getting all that, getting traffic to the site up. Maybe they run sort of they run ads on their site. It might not be around travel, but so the AdWords ads are popping up, and they just use content, SEO, getting people to the site. So when it picks back up again, they're a step ahead of these people who are just laying dormant.
Nice.
Keep the hammer on.
I know we've not got that much time left, so I just thought I'd get your final thoughts on what businesses should be proactively currently doing, because obviously spending on anything marketing related is going to reduce. But do you think it's essential for them to continue spending on it at this point? What are your thoughts on that?
100%. Like we touched on before, the amount of business that's going to come online, the better it's moved. Like what you need to do now has it forever changed. So you just can't have a website anymore, more than ever. So there's all these other companies online. They're going to start pushing, and that bar's been raised to it's going to be insane heights. So if for us here, we've doubled down spend on AdWords. With sort of good results, because we just realised that when other people are they're sort of relaxing a bit, we want to go hard. So, and hopefully with that as well. So, we're doing more email outs and those bits and pieces that will get a couple of rungs up, rungs up the ladder. And so when everything comes back and everyone sort of resumes, like the SEO, it's long, it's long, it's long term. And the effort you put in, it holds. So if we can jump a few positions ahead during this time, it would be,
we will be in a sweet when things resume back to normal for sure. And so, last and final thoughts around the current times, people, so initially there was like a stage 1 lockdown, now stage 2, and, we are stage 3 currently. Now, how do you think things would start resuming back to normal? Because obviously the government can't let everything resume back to normal immediately. Do you think that it's going to be a bit of a slow burn where, now only 2 people allowed to meet in public, the government is monitoring this pretty closely. There were quite a few fines given in Victoria over Easter weekend as well. There was in the city, there was some hens parties that got busted. And the fines are pretty severe. It's like, $1,600 per person. It's not, per event. So, in terms of timeline, do you think that we could expect to see this for the next, say, 2 months, and then slowly, we would get back to meeting in small groups of 5 or 10, and then say 6 or 8 months from now, things will slowly get back to normal, and restaurants and bars would open and people would start, meeting and gathering in public. Do you think that would be the progression, or do you think that we're going to be in lockdown, stage 3 lockdown for ages, and then things would start, and then things would just resume back to normal? What do you think how do you think this is going to play out? Because it is pretty interesting times, right?
Very, very interesting. I think they're going to have to open up. They're going to have to open up soon. And I think, it will slowly progress. I would hope, restaurants and bars, I think that's going to happen. I think a decision will have to be made between protecting everyone and protecting sort of younger generations and older generations. And so lockdown might be over a certain age lockdown. Younger people can go out and just sort of, hopefully sort of get through it and do it that way, because when's the next big call they're making? In about a month from now.
In about a month.
Take a look, but I reckon they might put restrictions based on age, and everyone else can sort of head back out again, because the risk of sort of death is sort of lower there. But it is. Otherwise, the economy is going to be hit for years and years, and we're going to be. It's not.
I don't think the world's ever seen anything like this before, right? Even when SARS that happened, I think a couple of years ago, or about a decade ago, the SARS outbreak. I don't think economies were in lockdown then, were they?
No.
I think there were a couple of countries in Southeast Asia that were affected pretty badly, but I don't think it ever hit pandemic level. It was more epidemic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what sort of got shut down, but this is the first big thing I've seen. And we're always quite protected in Australia, but this one sort of got through the cracks, and we're still, we're doing very well in comparison to the rest of the world, but it can just flare up at any time, which is the tough thing as well, I think. Yeah,
definitely, and it is pretty hard times ahead. So I guess stay safe, and I will be in touch with you pretty soon. And it was great chatting.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me on. So,
no worries. Are you practicing social distancing? Are you being true to it?
Yeah, most definitely. I come to the office, but no one else is here, and then I don't leave barely leave the house.
Yeah. And what
most
about
of the time? Most of the time.
what
How
about?
about you? What are you doing?
I
You
mean,
got that,
I
you
am
just,
social distancing. I am.
you just said you're at that hens party on the weekend. You got the
You know,
fine.
there was a hen's party I got busted in the weekend. That's what I read about. But like, I have been social distancing. I've been sort of just meeting maybe one or two people, like by themselves, but like no groups of more than three. I've been following that pretty strict rule. But yeah, it's hard not to meet people. Like it's especially, you know, for someone who's a bit social, it's hard not to meet people. Like, you know, and I feel bad for all the people that are living alone because
Yeah.
they have it the toughest, I feel.
Yeah.
You know, at least, you know, you're living with, you know, your kid and your girlfriend, and, you know, things are going.
Wife Garish.
Oh,
That's actually
sorry.
yeah.
Great chatting to you, James, and
Yeah, you too.
we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, I'll speak to you very soon.
All right, cheers.
All right, bud.
Bye.
Speak soon.